Hi, today we're going to talk about this, all right? Tweaks to the follow camera. And here we describe what we're gonna do. We're going to change the lens FOV, I think is 40. We make it a little bigger so we can see more. And we kind of swap the inverted checkboxes. I don't know why, but they feel really weird. And I think most games they use the camera just the other way around. That is the default. So that's it. And then at the bottom of the Cinemachine Free Look component, there is this extension drop-down menu, and we choose the Cinemachine Collider. And then there are three fields that say 0, and we put a 0.1 just to give a little, I don't know, it feels better this way to me. You can experiment with different values of smoothing and damping, but those are the ones that seem to do the trick for me. And so what is the Cinemachine Collider for? Basically, it wraps a collider around the camera. So that thing that sometimes may happen without this component, that Allen and the camera end up on the two sides of a wall. So what you see is the wall. You know that Allen is behind, but so instead with this thing, when there is a wall behind the camera sort of moves closer to Allen, because you know the presence of the wall sort of squishes the camera towards Allen, and so that means it never happens that the camera and Allen get separated, and it's really useful. So that of all the components that you can add, all the extensions actually they're called, I chose this one because it's really essential in a sense. It really makes a big difference. So we drag and drop main into the hierarchy, we select follow camera, and we do most of the work in the Cinemachine Free Look component. What do? As I said, we invert the invert. So this is unchecked, I check it, is the y-axis, and the x-axis is checked and we uncheck it. Again, my view of how it is supposed to work intuitively. And then you see that at the bottom, right, at the top there is also, where it is, let me double check. You can change the follow camera lens vertical FOV. Let's look for it. I don't remember anymore. Oh, here you go. Lens vertical FOV. If I remember correctly, it was 40. I think 50 works a little better. And then, as I said, at the very bottom, there is of the Free Look camera component. There is this extension, and I chose now. It's no longer there because we have already chosen it. But I chose Cinemachine Collider, and let's expand it again. It literally wraps the camera in the collider so that it never gets separated by from Ellen, and the effect is that it gets closer to her because it gets squished against her. Now these three values are by default zeros, if I remember correctly. I changed them to 0, 1 just to give a touch of smoothing and damping. I don't know, it seems to make it more interesting. One thing that I didn't play with, but you know, feel free to, is the noise. So for all three rigs, you can choose a noise. Typically, though, you put it maybe on the middle rig because it's the one. It is also when the camera recenters itself automatically, ends up in the middle rig. So you really want to have the noise when she's idling, right? And so that's why typically, while you're moving, you probably don't want the camera to shake too much, even though you can add a touch to it. Again, I have done nothing, but you could say, well, basic multi-channel, and then there are these options. And usually what I do the mild, yeah, handheld, normal, mild. There's so many, right? Wide angle, tele. I do the normal one, mild, and the camera becomes slightly wobblier. I think that these numbers need to be reduced, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you can see that the camera moves, right? Like I put it where her feet are, but that you see that the feet, you can see more or less of it. Again, you can play with it. I just figured to mention it because it's kind of nice to have this effect. But play with it yourself. For now, I will instead, let me see, say none again. Okay. At the end, you click on main, you go to overrides, you say apply, right? Because you change things. I have already done it, so I don't need to do it. And then after we apply, we delete, we save as usual everything, the scene and the project, and then we press play, and main will be automatically added. And you'll see that all the changes we made are still there, and she's able to walk. But now the camera works so much better. It's really night and day. Right, that's it for today. Thank you.